Hey family, welcome back to Let's Stay Married Together.
Hey everybody.
It's been a minute. We miss you guys. So glad to be back with you. Today we want to focus on something that is very important to us, and as married people, it should be important to all of us. We want to talk a little bit about doors that can lead to infidelity. We want to try our best to safeguard our marriages, safeguard our hearts from infidelity, and we recognize that anyone that's been in a situation like that, most people can tell you that it doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow walk, and there's certain things that can happen that will slowly lead to that. And so many people find themselves in situations that they wish they were never in. So we want to talk a little bit about that. I got some things written down here. But statistically, we spend 8 to 10 hours a day at work, most of us. And when we get home with our mates, we usually spend maybe 3 to 4 hours. So that leaves a lot of time to spend with those that we work with. And we want to deal a little bit with the notion or the idea of people having work wives, work husbands. And we know that it's popular. We know that people talk about it all the time. This is my work wife. This is my work husband. But first of all, we want to start by just talking about the power of our words. Just that statement in and of itself, talking about husband or wife, that is a very powerful statement. And it automatically, when you make that statement, there's a connect right there.
It's covenant.
It's covenant.
It's covenant.
And so we want to be very careful with that. And I talked about a couple spending, or two coworkers spending 8 to 10 hours a day together. I wanted to read this. It says, time leads to opportunity. Opportunity leads to comfortability. Comfortability leads to vulnerability. And vulnerability can lead to temptation, which could ultimately lead to infidelity. So, one door kind of opens the next door. And we just want to talk about just some of the dangers of going to work, making too strong of a connection, and sharing some things about your heart and your personal life that can lead us down a road of no return.
Yeah. And usually, more times than not, it starts with, we've already said with small things, and then it begins to play on deficiencies.
Absolutely.
So, if you're home and you're not getting the attention that you want or you feel you deserve, and then you go to work and you have that person that you just always connect with, always gets your jokes. And it doesn't even have to be a confiding at first. I think sometimes it starts just with simple stuff, sharing little things in the morning and laughing at things, and then it builds. Again, we're talking about slow walking in this process over a length of time until you don't even know how it happened. But at work, if things happen, this is the first person you look for to share it with. This is the first person, "Ooh, what are you doing today?" And this is, you kind of just all of a sudden you're spending that kind of time with just one individual.
Right. And we're naturally inclined to be attracted to people that affirm us. I don't mean necessarily attracted in a sexual way or anything like that, but we want to be around people that make us feel good about ourselves. So whether it's in the workplace and it's someone that affirms your intelligence, your creativity, how you look, your problem solving skills, people that affirm that, and make you feel good about those things, you have to be very careful because the enemy of our marriage seeks to fill voids like that. And wherever there's a deficiency, like Jackie said, in our lives, it could be attention, it could be we're second guessing how we look, or sometimes the situations at home can make you feel like your opinion is not necessarily appreciated, and now you go into this work environment and everything you say seems to be brilliant.
Idea.
It's a great idea. Oh, so glad to have you on the team.
Right.
And we're so glad your contribution is so appreciated.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go home and you maybe feel like you're being taken for granted. Mm-hmm. And so now it's so easy and it's so subtle for these doors to be open, and it simply starts with you just wanting to be in this person's company because of how they make you feel.
Right. And again, I think the challenge becomes recognizing, and again, we started talking about work wives or work husbands, but I think the danger occurs whether it's same-sex co-worker or anything. The danger becomes more visible or more stronger when you find that you're sharing your heart with somebody that you're not sharing those things with your spouse.
Right.
So when it comes down to heart matters, if you're starting to confide in somebody at work and then you don't take that emotion home, that's a problem. Even if the issues are at work. If your issues, what's weighing on you the most, if it's happening in that moment, at some point in your day, hopefully you're excusing yourself, texting your spouse saying, we need to chat because, oh my God, this is how my day has been. They should get all of you.
Right.
In that sense.
Right. And in doing that, I think one of the things that, we don't always let our mates know where we're deficient. And then we go to work and these things happen. And sometimes, when you start putting labels like that on people, you say, you're going to be my work wife. You're going to be work husband or whatever. When you do that, you're literally subconsciously, you're giving that individual permission to step over a line that goes outside of work.
Absolutely.
That's what you do.
Absolutely.
And so now you're saying, I'm letting you in to a part of me that goes beyond the four walls of this office or whatever. And once you do that, once that door is open, it's very easy to where lines of demarcation get blurred, and you can very easily find yourself in a situation where slowly your heart starts to belong to someone other than your mate.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
And the bottom line is when you're at work, you're professional. Right. So there's nothing professional about my husband, like my relationship, saying somebody is my husband. That's personal. It's not professional. So there's no reason for me to go into my professional space and have a work husband. Right. The two don't even go together, right, as far as I'm concerned. That's two separate lives. Right. Like this is work and this is home. This is real. Like this, right, I go to work to, pay me for what I'm doing, and then I'm going home to my life.
Right. And to be realistic in that, you may go to work, you got pictures of your kids up, you got pictures of your spouse. People may ask, oh, your kids are so cute. And those things will come up. What are you guys doing this weekend? Things like that. Sure. Will happen where people will be made privy to and know things about your kids. You have kids that are in high school. You have kids who play sports, whatever it is. Those things are bound to happen if you work in an environment close space with somebody 5-10 years. There's certain things that they may know. But I think when you start talking about my wife is not, my husband is not doing, and you start to share deficiencies, areas of your life where you're not happy, areas of your life where you feel depleted, you have to be careful with who you share those things to, because there can be always someone with a different motive who may take that as an opportunity to cross a line that they shouldn't cross. And then once those lines are crossed, it's very hard to push someone back outside Absolutely. Those parameters because you let them in.
You gave them permission.
You gave them permission.
You gave
Absolutely.
them permission.
So, with that being said, we just want to open up that discussion. Give us your thoughts on it. Tell us your ideas about it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? But I got one wife. Right here.
Listen, this all you can handle. I have one husband. I don't need.
And I still need prayer.
Right. I don't need another one.
Right.
Oh Jesus.
And so just be careful with that, with the words that you use, and more importantly, be careful with the things that you share, and be mindful. And sometimes you got to stop and say, how much of myself have I given to coworkers versus my mate? How much do I do that on a regular basis? Mm-hmm. And you may find that you might be a bit further over the line than you need to be. So this is just a reminder to give you something to think about, to give you something to consider as it relates to your your marriage life and your work relationships.
And start having a conversation. Now, and we want to hear from you, but have the conversation with your spouse.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is a good topic to have some dialogue about it, because one of the things that Stacy shared that I think is so important is the importance of even covering your mate. There are certain things that I will never say to an individual about my husband. And I don't care who they are. That could be my parents, my siblings, anything like that. There are certain things, whether they are deficiencies, struggles that we might be going, there are certain things that I will always protect him.
Absolutely.
And not give to another person. So again, when you get in an environment and you begin to talk about your mate's deficiencies to anyone, think about the fact that you are exposing them to another person.
Right.
Really give that some thought and be careful with who you expose your husband or your wife to.
Right, and that word exposing, it really rings heavy, because we are in a society, social media, following different individuals where so many people's lives are open books, and I think it's become very common to share and be open with things that should be sacred and should be private to a degree. So I think, it's like everyone wants to do damage control once things are out and they get opinions that they don't like. But so many times we open the door to criticisms and opinions that we don't need because we let people in too far. I know that might sound like an older guy saying that in the social media world, but I still believe that some things are still private. Some things are still personal, and some things need to stay that way. That's just how I feel about it. You can do whatever you feel like you need to do, but I think that there's some things that need to remain sacred in order for us to properly stay married together.
How you do that? And you didn't I didn't even know he was wrapping it up.
All right, let's
I didn't know. We're gonna say we're gonna do it one more time.
Ready?
So you ready?
All right.
Let's stay married together.
Peace.
Thank you.
God
I
bless.
appreciate
She didn't see it coming. We're supposed to be in sync, you know?
You left me hanging.
Supposed to be in sync. I don't know.
Give me a kiss.